Well,
Uh,
I wanted to go over a specific topic with you tonight.
okay.
And let me bring this up. Okay, this is um first of all, we'll look up here. This is going to be for the physical body. Look up here to the right, and you see those four orders?
Mm-hmm.
So each of those orders is different, but they change into each other by following those, like here, the gallbladder follows that arrow down to the gallbladder. Can you see me doing that?
Yes.
And then the gallbladder follows that arrow and then appears here and then follows that arrow to here and then goes back to the beginning here.
So interconnections between meridians.
Right. This was the original pattern that unlocked the spherical pattern. This was the original pattern from astrology. And I saw this about 8 years before seeing it in the acupuncture. So I meditated on these four orders for about 8 years before I saw the spherical pattern that you see down here below. So it took many years to try to understand these four orders. And we have four bodies, where the blue here would be the physical body, and then that pink one would be the emotional body, and then the yellow one would be the mental body. These are separate bodies that we have. And then beyond that would be the eternal state where that spherical pattern sits. And there's an order that describes each of those four bodies, those four states. So what I want to do tonight is just look at the basic one for the physical body, because we're going to understand that order the fastest. And I wanted to go through that order with you so I could show you how the physical body develops.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
No, no.
Do you tell me if you understand where we're going with this? Whoop. Tell me if you understand where we're going with this. Do you understand?
Kind of the formation of the life.
Yes. If we're in our physical body, that's the blue body here, we're in our physical body. We can actually leave our physical body and travel in the astral plane. And that would be the pink body. And then if you're in that, it's not really pink. I just colored it pink so we can see it. But if you're in that astral body and you sit there and meditate, you can actually leave that body and go to a higher level. Like if you read in the Bible in, a, a, I don't know if you say Revelations or Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. In there it says, the person who was writing it, John, said, "One day I was in the third heaven." And the third heaven is that mental body. First heaven is the physical body. Second heaven is the astral plane. Third heaven is that mental plane. And we can understand that from what his writing, because it was very logical. He saw many symbols. That's how you communicate on that mental plane. Like, I saw 7 symbols, 7 candles, certain colored horses, and all of those symbols are part of the language on that plane. It's not emotional, it's more abstract, intellectual. So we have these different states of our consciousness. at this particular moment, all those states are integrated into one understanding this world. We have the mental ability to understand symbols. We have the emotional ability to understand. We also have the physical body to interact with the environment. So we have all of these three bodies working together to live a life. Now, if you look over here in the yellow where it starts with the stomach meridian, stomach meridian is going to be fixed earth, Taurus. It's going to be that fixed earth state, earth, the earth element, but that fixed earth element. It's better to understand this from that standpoint of fixed earth than it is from the stomach meridian and trying to understand the physiology of the stomach. We're just going to go to what fixed earth is. And that's the start of the physical body. So what I'm going to show you is that as you go through this order, the body is developing, and we can develop a meditation on this order to show how the body develops. So, the very first symbol is fixed earth, stomach meridian. What you do at this point is you don't even move your body. If you're laying in bed or just standing there, you don't even move. You're just feeling the weight of your body. You're just feeling the body, the substance of the body has weight. And so it becomes relaxing at that point in time because you're just meditating on the body. You just feel the body weight. And then you go to the second step, which is bladder, mutable air, mercury, breathing, the air. So you begin to breathe. And as the breath goes in, just like the bladder meridian creates all the nervous system through the body, as you breathe, you feel the air go into the body. Like it says in the Bible that like God breathed into the body and gave it life.
Mm-hmm.
So the first step, stomach meridian, fixed earth, is the body. Second step, bladder, is breathing into that physical substance. And so that opens it up. Third step is the fixed fire. Third step is where that life now enters with the breath into the body. So a very basic meditation is to just feel your body and then breathe and feel the body opening up. There's like passageways that open up as you breathe. And then you visualize a light, and that light enters in with your breath and begins to fill those passageways. So this is how a body is created. You have the substance, you breathe life into it. Well, you breathe into it, and then the life goes in with the breath. So you have those first three steps in that order right here. So you're beginning to see that these orders have a very simple process to build each body. And so understanding each of these orders allows us to understand so much of how we develop as a person, how we develop our emotions, how we develop our ability to think. So, do you have a question about the first three steps here? Stomach, bladder, gallbladder.
No, no.
Okay. So gallbladder, fixed fire. Fixed fire. If you've ever seen a Leo personality, you know how they hold their shoulders back and their forehead's kind of high, and they have
Mm-hmm.
this Leo posture. Then you look at the gallbladder meridian that pulls off of the forehead and pulls back the shoulders and opens up this part of the chest from the sides. You see that that's the gallbladder meridian giving power to the posture. When you follow the gallbladder meridian around the shoulders, the gallbladder meridian is actually creating that posture for a Leo, because gallbladder is like Leo. They're both fixed fire. Then you go to spleen. Spleen is mutable earth. Now, when you get to gallbladder and that life enters you with the breath, and you've got this light inside of you, what do you think spleen does as the next step?
It gives it a direction
Where?
uh, to the heart.
Think mutable earth. Think mutable
Ah,
earth.
okay. S- Earth is stomach um and a spleen. So stomach.
Okay, mutable earth, spleen. Now it's a principle in acupuncture that the spleen receives the sunlight. So if we go out into the sun, the spleen is receiving that light. So here we have gallbladder, fixed fire, which is the sign Leo and the planet Sun in the third step there. So when it says gallbladder, we can understand that as sunlight, light from the sun, fixed fire, that reservoir of fire energy of life in the sun that that is that is the reservoir. Do you understand reservoir?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So it's the reservoir of light, and with that reservoir shining, we have the light to live. And then spleen will capture that sunlight. And we see this in the physical body, in the order of the physical body, to where you have the first step is the stomach, fixed earth, the substance. Then you breathe into it life. So you breathe into it, bladder, you give it life, gallbladder. And then once that light goes into it, the body receives the sunlight through the spleen, through mutable earth, Virgo. So here now we have the first four steps of we're taking substance in fixed earth, breathing into it life, and letting that life become part of it. So now the life with spleen, the life is now inside the body. Um, it's also if a person is outside of their body traveling astrally at night and they're traveling in the astral plane, and if they come back too quick, have you you'll have this paralysis. The person will come back too fast to their body, their physical body. They'll open their eyes, but they're not able to move their body. Have you ever experienced that?
Yes, it happened to me.
So what's happening there is the is the light is the light from the body coming back is not connecting to the body. So the astral body, the emotional body, comes back too fast and is not connected yet to the physical body. So you can't move. And that's because it's the spleen is not accepting yet the emotional body. Do you see how that works?
Mhm.
So there's a treatment when somebody comes back too fast to their body and they feel that paralysis. You go to the ankles, kind of around the Achilles tendon, tendon Achilles, around there,
Mhm.
and you squeeze the spleen point there. And then the astral body will connect with the physical body. But it's that spleen point that will call the astral body into the body and make those connections. It's hard to do it yourself when you're paralyzed.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you come into your body and you're paralyzed and it takes you like 5 minutes or so to start moving, then you can move down to those spleen points on your heel and just squeeze them. And then it'll help the astral body reconnect with your physical body. So right there in the first 4 steps of the physical body, we can understand so much about how to take care of this body and what's going on with it, and how important breathing is. Breathing is to open up the body and allow the spirit light to come in. But that's not enough. If someone's sitting there breathing in light and the light is going in, okay, that's fine. But you don't stop there. That's only the first 3 steps in this order of breathing in the light. There's still 9 more steps to go. And this is where a lot of people fall short when they're meditating, is they just breathe in the light, but they're not concerned about making that light integrate into their body. So that's why you got to go to the 4th step with spleen. Right there. So these first 4 steps are complete in that you have the body, you breathe into it, and then the life energy goes into the body, gallbladder, and then that life energy connects into the body. They actually connect. That mutable earth takes that sunlight and distributes it into the physical body. That's the mutable aspect of earth. It distributes. So it's taking that sunlight and distributing it to the earth because it's mutable earth. So you begin to see the potential of really understanding all of these orders, because there's going to be an order for the emotional body too. How do we understand the emotional body? How do the emotions develop? But right now, we'll concentrate on the stomach. After spleen comes heart. What do you think's happening there?
Heart receives plenty of new energy from the spleen because spleen received from gallbladder all that energy and kind of purified it to send to heart. Not sure if this is correct.
That's why it takes time to meditate on these. Heart is cardinal fire. It's like you're turning on a light. You're activating something. You're activating something. So stomach, bladder, gallbladder, spleen. When you go in that order, now you have a body that's full of energy. What are you going to do with it? Spleen has brought in all that sunlight energy, that life energy into your body. Now what's going to happen? Well, heart is going to activate something. ¿Puedes cerrar la cortina? So the heart is going to activate something. So I'll use my hand as an example. The substance, I breathed into it, and now the hand is filling with life energy, and the spleen is connecting that life energy to the hand. The hand is not moving yet, but the hand is ready to move because now it has life energy connected to it. Heart is this. It's just activating one muscle at a time. As a muscle fills with the energy, it activates. It jumps. You see the rhythm there of cardinal fire? So it looks kind of crazy, but it's the body activating. That's that cardinal fire. Because as gallbladder comes into the hand, and then the spleen distributes that to one muscle, and as that one muscle gets it, it activates. The spleen distributes the sunlight energy from gallbladder to another muscle, it activates. One muscle at a time. Then we go to liver, which is mutable fire. That's that sixth symbol in this order. Mutable fire continues this process to firing off muscles, but now it's going to fire off groups of muscles, muscles that are kind of related to one another. So it begins like closing and opening and closing. So you see the muscles starting to work together. They're starting to be connected, how the muscles are moving. So you see the muscles distributing, and now it's like, oh, just kind of freely opening up and letting everything kind of activate together. There's no pattern, it's just free flowing. So you can actually create a whole Qigong sequence. You can create a whole Qigong sequence for your whole body through this order. So the first step at stomach, you're not moving. Second step with bladder, you're breathing. You're feeling the breath go into you. Third step, gallbladder, you're breathing in the light. Fourth step, spleen, you're sensing the light connect to all of your nerves and your skin and your organs and your muscles. And then in the heart, you begin to activate certain muscles. It looks kind of funny, but you're just feeling one muscle at a time and kind of moving like a robot. Mm-hmm. And then as you begin to activate more muscles, you begin to activate more muscle groups, and you begin to dance freely. And once you've reached that point where you're dancing freely and just moving, however, you've got all the way to the liver in the body development. But it looks strange because the body is just freely moving any which way it wants. So then the next step after liver is the pericardium. Homeostasis, getting something back into order. Cardinal water, getting something to settle down into a pattern. So at liver, the person's just all over the place. And then pericardium, cardinal water, steps in and says, relax. Move your hand, slow it down, create patterns, create movements that have meaning. So it begins to take the hand at one time and says, okay, close it, open it, begin to develop something with meaning. You know, cardinal, water, the moon, Cancer. It has to have meaning. One step at a time, because it's cardinal, you take one part of the body and say, okay, we just don't want the hand flying around like this at liver. We need to bring it down and we need to give it purpose so that it can open and close and point and things like that. And then the next step after pericardium is kidney, to where now the whole body develops this harmony of movement. It's still moving with liver, but now that water is being distributed to every part of the body and creates a very fluid kind of dance. So we've now gone through the first 8 steps of the physical body. We've breathed life into it. We've activated the muscles, and now we're getting the muscles coordinated with water. With what the water is coordinating the muscles into patterns that we can use for certain purposes, so that we can control the body and be able to use it as we need to. Okay, so through the first 8 steps of this order, we're learning to control the body. We're learning to control how the physical body moves. Now, in the last 4 steps, we're going to be saying, okay, what are we going to do with the physical body now? The next step after kidney is lung, Libra, cardinal air. Here, the idea is to create forms. So if I take my hand, now that I have control of it, I can move it, but now I can control it with after pericardium and kidney have balanced the movements. Now I can control it. Now I can say, look at the form. It's an open hand. It's a closed hand. I'm pointing. You know, I can create different symbols, different forms with my hand. I could even, if I knew, the language with the hands, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you can talk with your hands. So now that we've controlled it, now we can actually create different forms with our body. This is with the lung, step number 9 in the physical body. So as you can see, as you move through this order, it's describing exactly how the physical body develops. And if there's a blockage, like between gallbladder and spleen, when the astral body is coming back in, we can say, that's where the blockage is. Let's treat the spleen because it's blocked. And then you can do your needles, between a complementing meridian, a meridian that the spleen is flowing to, then a meridian that flows to the spleen, and then you needle the spleen, boom, the spleen unlocks, the astral body comes in. So as you understand these orders and what's going on in the body, you can pinpoint, you can determine where blockages are between certain meridians. Let's say that somebody has their body is twitching, right? Their body's twitching. What is that? Where do you think the blockage is?
Like Parkinson.
Say that again. Parkinson's, yes.
Like Parkinson.
So where do you think that blockage is? You see the body twitching.
Okay. In the organ who rules the muscles.
Look at the order here of the physical order in yellow. If the body is just twitching, where do you think that blockage is? You know, between stomach, bladder, gallbladder, spleen, heart, liver, pericardium, kidney. In that order there.
Spleen.
Between spleen and heart. The symptom is just activating one muscle at a time. That's heart. So the heart is activating, right? Because it's just firing off muscles. But you need to develop more movement, more graceful movement with liver. So there's a blockage between, it goes spleen, heart, and then there's a blockage to the liver. That movement is not able to just be distributed to other muscles and create more graceful movements through the liver. So if you see someone just firing off, okay, there's a blockage around the heart in the physical body, because that's representing how the heart activates one muscle at a time. It's just firing off like popcorn. Popcorn's like that's how cardinal fire is, like popcorn. It's just random popping. So you know, if someone's popping like that, you got to treat the heart, because there's a blockage there with the heart not being able to flow to the liver. But if you have someone who's just floppy and like this all the time, and they're not able to really control their movements because their body is just flopping around, what do you think is going on there?
The spleen cannot control and put everything in its proper way, proper space, proper flow.
Well, the spleen has brought down energy into the body. So there's energy in the body to move those muscles, but there's no pattern. There's just wild kind of movement for the muscles. So there's fire. You see all this movement, so you know there's fire. But the way the person is moving like this shows mutable fire. It's fire just being distributed around like fire. It looks like mutable fire. This is cardinal fire. When it's just little movements like that, that's cardinal fire. Then you look towards the heart meridian. But when you've got like a fire movement like this going around, that's mutable fire. So then you look at the liver. And because those movements aren't able to be controlled, there's a blockage between the liver and the pericardium. And so if somebody is paralyzed, then you know there's a blockage between gallbladder and spleen. Like when someone goes back into their body too fast. Paralysis shows a blockage between gallbladder and spleen. So you can use this order to really unlock where you want to put your needles, where you can see really quickly where the blockage is by what type of movement you're seeing in the body. And this, I haven't taught this. This, you won't, what I'm saying right now is not in any of the videos that I produced. This is just now. I've never talked about how to really understand these orders in the other videos. This is one thing I just save because it's really special. It makes it really easy to understand where the blockages are. When we go to the emotional order, maybe next week, we'll be able to see when someone's having an emotional problem, where to needle according to their emotions. But right now, we're just looking at the physical body. Okay, so we've gone to pericardium and kidney. We've got the body calmed down. It's able to move calmly, to relax, store up its power, and move as it needs to. Like when Bruce Lee, the great martial artist, would say, be like water. The idea was to come down to this pericardium and kidney in the order, because that's when you have all that power from the heart and liver, and now you're concentrating it into this water. And then when you move, you have coordinated power, because that's what the pericardium and kidney do for the fire in the heart and liver. Heart and liver fire, and then pericardium kidney water gives it, controls that power and is able to direct it. Then you go to lung and you give the body form. And then sanjiao is you're using those forms for purpose, to control and interact with your environment, so that what you do with your hand has an impact on the environment, so you can really control what you do. So now you're with the sanjiao, you are using your body for exactly what you want to do. Lung is giving you the forms of how to open your hand, how to close your hand, how to talk with your hands. And then sanjiao says, all right, let's be creative with this. Let's produce something. Let's use this. Let's harness the power in the body and do something. And then you get to small intestine, fixed earth, executing. Now you've decided, we're going to take the body and do this with it. Now, the easiest way to understand these last two steps of small intestine and large intestine, the easiest way to understand these is in healing with your hands. Small intestine, fixed earth, so you touch. Large intestine, fixed air. Air's transference, movement from one thing to another. It's communication. It's Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, air. All the signs of communication. I say something, you talk back to me, we have a conversation. So large intestine, fixed air, Aquarius is the last there. So after you've developed all this power in your body and you're able to control it, you bring that form down and touch. You touch another person, small intestine. No, it's okay. There. Thank you. So small intestine is your touch. And then at that point in time, with the large intestine, that fixed air, the life in you will transfer to another person. And that's the highest development of the physical body. At first we brought in the life into our body. We learned to develop and express that life energy through our body to make movements and control our movements. And then in the last 4 stages, we're learning how to project that life energy to other people. And at that last stage of large intestine, fixed air, you touch and you transfer telepathy, thoughts, dreams. Your body is able to express energy so that you can have energy coming out of your hands. You can have energy coming out of your heart. You can have energy flowing through your body and being able to transfer that energy to other people. And it's that
Just like that Qigong, the clinical Qigong.
right. So if you want to develop how to do clinical Qigong, you want to develop each of these stages in a meditation for your body. So you first start out feeling your body, then you breathe air into it, then you fill your body with light, energy. Spleen receives that and you feel it tingling, you sense it through your whole body. And then you can feel it activating your muscles, organs, eyes, ears. And then you're controlling that, you're giving it coordination. You're coordinating those movements, that energy through pericardium, kidney. And then you harness that energy and you feel that energy flowing through you and you're able to control it because you've put pericardium and kidney, the water on it. And then lung and sanjiao, you're developing the expression. You're developing the expression of how to use that. And then in the last 2 steps, you're impacting the environment. You're expressing and giving your energy to it. So now the physical body is completely developed so that you can bring in that energy, coordinate it, give it form, transfer it. And that's when you have the Qigong. So it's a very high form of healing for that energy to come through the body. So when you understand just that order for the physical body, you can see the steps that you need to take to develop that ability. And when you see somebody with a problem in their body, you'll be able to see where that problem is. If somebody doesn't have much energy in their body, and their body is very tired and lethargic, where would you look?
Between gallbladder and spleen.
Right? Because the energy is just not getting into the body. It may be there, it's just not connecting to the body. So you can have people who breathe light energy all day long, but they still feel fatigued. And it's because the body's not distributing that light energy into the body tissue. And so you have to unblock the spleen. So you can see just from this one order, every blockage that can happen in the physical body and where that would happen and the meridians that are responsible for that. So if you have somebody who's able to sing and act, that means they've gone all the way to lung and sanjiao. They can act, they can sing. But when it comes to going out on stage, they're not able to execute. What would you do?
So this is fear probably, but and fear is related to kidney and bladder.
So you can go to the kidney, unblock the kidney, and then all of a sudden that lung and sanjiao will start to fill up and say, okay, now I know what to do. I know I can act. I can sing. I'm going to do it. And then there comes this point in time where they begin to execute it for other people. And let's say if they're able to do that, they have a healthy small intestine. And if they're able to connect with the audience and the people, oh, the singing is so wonderful, the acting is so natural, and the audience feels it, that person's large intestine is healthy. They've completely developed their talents to be able to, if you just learn how to sing and act, you come up to lung and sanjiao on that order. You developed the forms and how to sing and act, but you haven't done it in front of other people yet. And that's when you come to the last two steps, small intestine and large intestine, of to where you're actually making contact with your audience and then performing for them so that they feel what you feel inside your body. And so as you sing, as you use your vocal cords, as you act and use your eyes and your facial expressions, and they feel that, that's the large intestine completing the physical body. You can't do any more than that with your physical body. You can't do any more than that than just convey what you want, convey what you feel through your body, through your voice and through your facial expressions and how you move your body. There's nothing more you can do unless you can telepathically communicate with people. But even if, even emotions, they have to express through your body. Even thoughts, they have to express through your body somehow by talking it or making something with your hands. They have to express through your body. So large intestine of being able to express through the physical body is the highest state of development of the physical body. And this is something you will not see anywhere else because this order for the symbols is new. It's never been published, only what I've published. But explaining it, I've never published that before. And you can just begin to see that just from the order of the physical body, we can understand so much about how to develop our body to express the powers within us. The order that starts with heart is the zodiac. Like heart, Aries, stomach, Taurus, bladder, Gemini, pericardium, Cancer, gallbladder, Leo. That's just the zodiac. We know that order. But these other three orders, we don't know. People don't know them yet. The one that starts with the stomach, that's the physical body. We just went through that. The one that starts with gallbladder, that's the emotional body. The one that starts with bladder, that's the mental body. And as you go through each of these orders, you begin to understand how those bodies develop and express. So we've just gone through go ahead.
The physical body. The next one is
would be the
maternal?
emotional body. They jump back and forth. They jump back and forth in how they change from one to another. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that.
Yes. That's why when we have emotional problems, this affects our physical health. and
Yeah,
vice versa.
right. Because what we feel, if we have our physical body, if the spleen is weak in the physical body, it's going to affect the spleen in the emotional body. We're going to see a connection there. This is the meridian order of the physical body. So stomach, bladder, gallbladder, spleen, heart, liver, pericardium, kidney, lung, sanjiao, small intestine, large intestine. That's what we just went through. And there's colors associated with each of them. So you can use colors in the healing too. And the function over here, you'll see an order to the function where it's like maintain are numbers 1 and 3. And then at the end, maintain is the third from the last and the last.
Would be immutable, fixed, and cardinal.
Very good. This comes from the astrology. So the bladder, when I say distribute, it's mutable. So you have mutable, 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 every other one. And then when you reach heart, then it goes activate, 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 every other one. So this is the process of developing the physical body. Maintaining is fixing the energy. So the first stages of the physical body are maintaining it and distributing the energy, distributing through the body to get the life force into it and to get the movement through it. And then as the body is being filled with the fixed energy and the mutable energy, then the activating cardinal energies begin to express, to get the body to do something. And then at that very end, you have Sanjiao maintaining and the large intestine maintaining so that you can maintain that contact with somebody so that that transference can take place. In the emotional body, let me see. Yes, it's in the emotional body that this reverses. The emotional body will go maintain, activate, distribute, activate, distribute, maintain. So the emotional body has the same pattern. It just switches activate and distribute. So there's a definite, consistent pattern from one order to the other. They mirror each other. They mirror each other with the same pattern, but differently. And so studying these 4 orders really helps us to understand physical body, emotional body, mental body, spiritual body. So that's what I wanted to show to you tonight.
Yeah, really nice. Really nice.
This is something that only you know about right now.
Thank you very much.
And I will be putting it up on the YouTube. But let me go ahead and come back here. I think that's probably a good place to stop, unless you have more questions.
No, it's very clear. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's very clear.
I'm going to put the video up on YouTube, and you can always go back and watch it to learn how those steps. I tried to explain it as completely as I could.
No, you explained very well. Yeah, very detailed with all the steps. Yeah, perfect.
I think the one step that I didn't really explain is the Sanjiao. Um, but the Sanjiao is a very deep, deep symbol to understand how it expresses through the physical body. We can understand it, from lung to Sanjiao as courtship to mating, right? Lung is posturing like the birds do, fluffing their feathers, putting on different forms,
Mm-hmm.
and that activates the lung reception in like between male and female. So they get these forms of saying, okay, I'm in a mating dance now. And then there comes a point in time where they say, okay, I understand this is a mating dance. Okay, let's mate. And then Sanjiao. And Sanjiao is bringing that together. But it's more than that. Then you have to take it to that point of where the small intestine and large intestine are actually transferring life from one being to the other being, like through the mating. It's one thing to mate. It's one thing to come together and say, okay, we're mating. It's another thing to actually transfer that life energy so that the mating becomes complete. That's small intestine and large intestine. And so the Sanjiao is really profound in it being able to make that connection with another person or another object, to be able to transform it through the large intestine, Aquarius. So this is really, 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 really useful information. As you can watch people walking, you can watch people talking, and you can understand where they are in the development of their physical body.
Yes.
Is some people can talk and move their hands and walk nice, but they're not able to fully develop their body because their emotions aren't developed yet. They don't have the emotions of caring, like a mother. Sometimes you'll see a mother that just can't hold the baby, and that's the body expressing the love through it. But you'll see a mother that just can't get the body to do that because emotionally she doesn't know how to love. She has a blockage in her emotions, and that doesn't allow her body to fully express through a hug for her little baby. So you put this all together and you're going to see how these patterns describe life and where people are blocked.